What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Red King 508 back at it again for another video. Today, for you guys, we gotta talk about the NBA. The state of the NBA right now, as I sit here today, it's not great. There's a lot of things wrong, especially with the NBA playoffs, the NBA in general, and I think because I've been watching the NHL playoffs and I think it's better than the NBA playoffs, really. The NHL playoffs, I just watched Anaheim and Edmonton. Sad for my guy, Connor McDavid. I really want him to win the Stanley Cup. But shout out to Anaheim. You know, they played really, really great the entire series. They let Game 5 slip away. I thought they let a lot. I think the goals kind of like caught them off guard, especially in Edmonton. It was very wild event, but they went back to Anaheim tonight and they got a win. So they just awaiting Vegas and Utah. But the one thing I can say about the NHL is not a lot of things bad. You know, when you watch the NHL playoffs, it feels like a real playoff game. It feels like, you know, the intensity's there. The refs are gonna let them play. You know, there's a lot of things that I like about the NHL playoffs, especially, you know, just seeing how they're competing time after time after time. And it's really, really fun to watch. I don't think I've ever been locked into hockey the way that I've been locked in now, because it's like there's so many great things happening. There's so many good teams in the tournament. I watched Pittsburgh lose to Philly. What was it, last night? And it was sad. It was sad. I didn't think that, you know. I thought the way the series was looking, it looked like Pittsburgh was about to, you know, come off with a win and force Game 7. But of course, Philly locked it down and they got a win in overtime. You know, they're going to play Carolina. Carolina has been knocking on the door for years. And I think Carolina, you know, they're going to give it everything they got. Buffalo and Boston, obviously, that's a really good series. And Tampa, Montreal, that's a really good series. I think Montreal is going to pull the win out. Their young core has been amazing. But you know, there's a lot of really good series. There's a lot of really good teams in these playoffs. You know, Minnesota Wild, for example, they've been playing great. Colorado Avalanche, they dismantled the Kings in 4. There's a lot of good things in the NHL. The NBA, here's the problem. And I'm going to let PK Subban explain. He said this a year ago and it's still there. Like, and I'll explain what he was saying then as opposed to, like, and why it has some significance now.
He's a different sport from the NBA. You can't compare the cultures because of the way the game is played. You can step on an NBA floor and go through the emotions. You can't do that in hockey. You can't. Like, the culture of our sport, you have to play it with passion. You have to be willing to fight. You have to be willing to leave it on the ice. That's what fans are investing in. So for us, when we charge $1,500 for a ticket to come to Fournier, fans know what they're getting. Cale Makar, the best defenseman in the world, wasn't in the lineup for this game. This was the most viewed game that we've had in years. And you see it, it's because it's not just based on the skill and talent. It's based on the pride, honor, playing for the guy next to you. I got a question for the NBA players. What the hell are you playing for? What are you playing for? It's not about the money. You make all the money. What, you're injured? Well, there's a difference between being hurt and injured. Are you hurt or are you injured? There's a difference. In hockey, we play hurt. We play injured. That is the culture of the sport. It's always been that way. So you want to talk about the business, the CBA. Fans get all of that. But what do fans resonate with? They resonate with what's real. You got to fight sometimes for your country. You got to compete. You got to go out there and leave it on the ice because those people are paying the price of admission. So fans know whether our stars are on the ice or not, they're getting their money's worth. The NBA has that issue that they got to work on. You got to create a better culture for your players. It starts with the leaders. This issue, there was no issue when Jordan was around. There was no issue when Kobe was around. There's no issue when Sidney Crosby's around. There's no issue when Wayne Gretzky was around because those are true leaders. They lead by example. Sidney Crosby, Hockey Canada, those players, both Canada and U.S., it was the players that did that for the four nations. That's not the league. The league set it up, but the players went out there and decided and said, you know what, boys? We're all in. When is the NBA going to do that? Because, I haven't sat down and watched the NBA consistently since Kobe. Since Kobe has died, I have not sat down and watched the NBA consistently. I love basketball. Love the players. I think LeBron's great. I think KD's great. Steph Curry, love watching them. But you got to be on the court. You got to be there, and when you're there, you got to go all in. The fans got to feel that they're getting their money's worth. And right now, there's a big difference between what the NHL's doing with those events and what the NBA's doing. Four Nations works because the players are all in. They're all in.
And here's what he was really saying. I know a lot of people took his comments out of context, but really, look at KD now. KD's injured in the playoffs. Is he going to play game 6? Probably not. But everybody wanted to see LeBron and him face off. Well, they only faced off one time in the series. So it doesn't feel like people are getting the money's worth. Especially now when you got especially load management. I think load management has been a serious issue. A serious issue. The tanking has been an issue. The load management has been an issue. There's a lot of things wrong with the NBA. And with the NHL, the one thing that we can take from the NHL is that if you look at their format, you don't go based off of record. You go based off of points. If a team has 100 something points, then you're the best team. In hockey. So it's I'm sitting there and I can watch Colorado because they've been the best team all year, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best team right now. Because another team could come out and really give them trouble. You know what I mean? When I'm watching effort being played by hockey players and I'm watching effort not being given by NBA players, it really makes me wonder, what the hell? I'm watching guys just chuck up willy-nilly threes, and I'm watching them go to the hole. I'm watching them penetrate the paint, kick the ball out to the corner or to the baseline, and it's another three. The league is more centric on three-pointers. There's not one team that has different systems. If you watch the NFL, the NFL does have their own problems, but the one thing that you can sit there is they have different systems. This might be a power running team, or this team might be just a air it out team. This team might be really good defensively. This team might be very good offensively. There are different teams that have unique styles and unique systems, and it's all about how you play in the system. And I'll get into the NFL in a second, but when I'm watching the NBA, I'm watching just the regular season at times I feel don't matter because I don't really sit there unless it's a big historical rivalry type game, then I'll sit down and watch it. But if it's Utah or thing. It's like it don't click for me because I know this team's not gonna give effort. I know they're just gonna get blown out by fucking 30 or some shit like that. I know this because the way that they play and the way that the effort's not being given, that's an issue. And I say the same thing. Like the NFL refs and the NBA refs might be worse. Because the one thing I can say about the NHL refs, they let the players play. They letting them play. They letting it decide the game by themselves. They don't let it get out of hand to where it's like, oh, we gotta blame the refs because they fixed the game. We're not seeing that. Today I watched the Atlanta Hawks not give effort. And they get blown out. It was 83-35, if I remember that score right, at halftime. Where's the effort? Where's the fight? Where's that? And then you have tonight against Boston, where it's like everything went wrong for Boston. Like, I'm not gonna dismiss the shooting slump, but I'm not also gonna dismiss the refs not officiating the game right either. Because that also plays a big factor. NFL has the same issue. The NFL, now I'll get to the NFL. The NFL, their issue is that the refs get too involved. Like, they have to dictate what people want to see, what they're going to be forced to see the following week. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a Steeler fan, all right? So I've been watching my Steelers for years. I've seen them get screwed by the refs a bunch of fucking times. Last year was probably more than the usual. But last year was and it wasn't just my team. It was every other team. Buffalo, the Giants, the Cowboys, what was it? The Detroit Lions. There are a number of teams that got screwed last year, and there was a lot of things wrong. But we shouldn't have to like. All right, I'm gonna give you a really good example. If I see the Kansas City Chiefs, right, and I hear, well, we gotta play against them, and the refs, and even the commentators are saying, like, we don't know what the refs calls. Like, these are, like, horrible calls. Like, horrendous calls. And they are fixing games. That's where you draw the line. Because nobody pays to see the ref. Nobody tunes in to see the ref dictate games. Force a game. Do this. The NBA and the NFL have that issue. And they need to clean it up. There's a lot of problems with these two sports in particular because of just the bias and just the lack of letting the players play and letting the players get away with stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we could watch, I mean, and you can't even hide the bias because every year there's always that team that we see. Like, if you look at the Super Bowl logo over the years, it's changed, but the colors have been exactly what we thought of. So, what was it? 2 years ago, it was Philly and... No, a few years ago, it was the Bengals and the Rams. Year before that, it was Kansas City and 49ers. Then the year after that, it was Vegas, Philly. Vegas, Philly another time. And then last year, we have Patriots, Seahawks. Now, I'm not going to dismiss the Seahawks because the Seahawks were playing really, really good. They were a bum-ass team, but then they went and they got real good. They went out of free agency. They did exactly what they did. They played well. That's a real team. However, the Patriots, I feel like, were forced. They were forced to be in the Super Bowl. That's just me. Like, I watched the Buffalo Bills play the Denver Broncos, and that interception that they called an interception, It was actually a catch by the offensive player. And there was a big issue about that for like, I don't know, like days. But even with the NFL, even with the NBA, like the NBA refs play a huge part in why series shift and why teams, they get bounced out, because if they're good, then they get bounced out because, of course, you gotta force a game. You gotta force a game 7. You gotta force a game 6. You gotta force a game 5. You gotta force it all. That's why when you hear Scott Foster or Tony Brothers or all these other referees, nobody forgets the Tim Donaghy situation, because that's still a pivotal problem. And they start looking at, okay, are you fixing games just to fix games and just to keep it going? Or do you have your own agenda that you want? And the NBA and the NFL have that same issue. They have the same issue, dude. The NHL, they let their players play. They let them decide the game for themselves. They don't have to get involved. They don't have to. Do they sometimes get involved? Yes. But not to the degree that the other two sports get involved in. That's all I like. But I like the effort. I like the tenacity. I like the play. And I think the NBA is just done. The NBA is done. I can't even watch a game without feeling this game is fixed. This game, it just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot wrong, but there's a lot to like about the NHL. I think the NHL, for me, is really stepping up to the plate because their guys care. And yes, are their guys injured? Yes, but they play injured. They play injured. There's never this, oh, well, he didn't show up tonight. He don't want to play. What the fuck? I just wanted to watch you, bruh. And now I find out that you're not even competing? If it was a serious injury, I get it. But if you're hurt, fucking play. Like, you know what I mean? And like Subban says, if it's about the money, you're making all the money. But if you just feel like, oh, well, we're going to, sit back and we don't care, then that's you. And there's a lot wrong with the NBA. There's a lot wrong with the NFL. And I don't think that the NFL has to insert, oh my God, what the hell was it? Like, they have to insert, no, I'm sorry. The NBA has to insert, a 65-game rule. And it's like, yeah, because you guys won't play. Even if you're injured, they had to make a whole spiel about that. But it's like, dude, I can't. But I like what the NHL is doing. I like the way that it feels like an actual playoff. And it's unbelievable. The atmosphere is there, the tenacity is there, the pride's there, the fight's there. There's going to be fights, but it's rivalry. It's a real rivalry. It's physicality, dude. It's letting the shit play out. That's what I like, man. Just let the players play. Let them fucking fight. Let them do everything, man. Shout out to the Anaheim Ducks once again. I'm happy for you guys. You get your first win since 2017. I think that whoever comes out in the Utah Vegas series, that's going to be a really, really good series. I think the Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche, that's going to be a really, really good series. Minnesota's tough. Minnesota's really tough, but so is Colorado, and that's what I'm excited for. Anyway, guys, if you do enjoy this video, if you do want to see more videos like this, please make sure to go hit that like button. Make sure you go subscribe to the channel for more. And let me know, do you think that the NHL is better than the NBA and NFL? And if so, why? Also, who is your favorite NHL player? Because mine is obviously Connor McDavid. Even though I root for Boston, McDavid's still my favorite player. So please make sure to go hit that like button. Make sure to go subscribe to the channel and let me know what the deal is. This has been your boy Red King 508, and I am out.